Welcome to the Evolution of Man. This series challenges the version of manhood many of us inherited. The silence, the pride, the emotional distance. The belief that providing money excuses a lack of presence. The belief that effort only counts when someone notices. Men have grown, but many of us are still carrying values built for survival, control, and performance. Values that limit how we show up with the women, with partners, with children, with ourselves. Part 1 turns the mirror towards men. This is where we confront the ego, the excuses, the surface level healing, the emotional gaps we keep asking our families to accept. So you may believe the cards are stacked against you. You may believe change takes too much time. You may believe this is simply who we are. But it is what it is often what we say when accountability feels harder than staying the same. So this series is not here to shame men. This series is here to challenge men who know their families deserve more. Your partner should not have to beg for emotional safety. Your children should not have to study your moods. The people who love you should not have to lose themselves trying to reach you. The question is not whether men are capable of changing. The question is whether we are willing to stop defending the version of us that keeps causing harm. Connect with 15 Minutes with Dad on social media and join the conversation. Join our weekly call-ins and fatherhood community on Discord at 15 Minutes with Dad. Share your story, your struggles, or the work you are doing by emailing me directly at Lirec, Lirec at 15minuteswithdad.com. This is part 1. The mirror is up. So let's get honest. Men do not always run from responsibility. Sometimes we run towards it. More work, more money, more training, more screens, more noise, more movement. Anything to avoid sitting still long enough to feel what is happening inside. Welcome to the Evolution of Man, a 15-episode series from 15 Minutes with Dad. The part 1 is called The Mirror. These first episodes examine inherited manhood ego, defensiveness, emotional avoidance, control, and the patterns families experience even when men believe they are doing their best. This series does not shame men. This series asks men to become honest enough to grow. This is the evolution of man. Let us begin. Some men escape through alcohol. Some escape through work. Some escape through sex. Some escape through gym, through video games, through social media, through anger, through silence. Some escape by always helping everyone else. Some escape by staying so productive they never have to ask why they feel empty. Not every escape looks destructive. Some escapes get praised. People call you disciplined, driven, reliable, focused, a provider, a leader. They see your output. They do not see what your output protects you from. You stay busy because stillness brings grief. You stay angry because anger feels safer than fear. You may stay silent because speaking would expose the pain. But you stay useful because usefulness feels like the closest thing to love. You keep moving and moving because you are afraid of what might catch you if you stop. The problem is not the movement. The problem begins when movement becomes your avoidance. You might escape the feeling. Your family still experiences the distance. Welcome back to 15 Minutes with Dad. I am Lirec Williams. This is episode 3 of the Evolution of Man. The title is The Escape, Why Men Avoid What They Feel. Episode 1 examined the man you inherited. Episode 2 examined ego as armor and why feedback often feels like disrespect. Today, we look at what happens after the armor goes up. We escape. Emotional avoidance does not mean you have no feelings. It often means your feelings feel too dangerous, confusing, painful, or unfamiliar to face directly. Many men learned how to take action before learning how to identify their emotions. We know how to fix. We know how to fight, plan, provide, solve, protect. We know how to endure, push through. And we often struggle with a different set of questions. What am I feeling? Where is this feeling coming from? What does this emotion need from me? How do I talk about this without blaming someone else? How do I stay present without becoming overwhelmed? How do I ask for support without feeling weak? Those questions require a skill many men never had room to practice: emotional awareness. When emotional awareness is missing, the body still searches for relief. That relief often becomes escape. You might ignore sadness, but sadness still affects your energy. You might deny fear, but fear still affects your decisions. You might be able to suppress your grief, but grief still affects your relationships. You might avoid shame, but that shame is still there and it still affects how you receive feedback. You might refuse to name loneliness, but loneliness still affects the choices you make for correction. Avoidance changes the form of the emotion. It does not erase the emotion. So unprocessed fear often becomes control. Unprocessed sadness becomes withdrawal. Unprocessed shame becomes defensiveness. Unprocessed grief often becomes numbness. Unprocessed rejection becomes anger. Unprocessed helplessness often becomes overworking. The emotion keeps on moving, and the emotion eventually reaches your home. There's research on men's mental health, and it continues to link rigid masculine expectations with emotional repression, self-reliance, delayed support, isolation, and hidden distress. A 2025 systematic review found traditional masculine norms often reduces men's willingness to seek mental health support, especially when help seeking conflicts with the beliefs about strength and independence. I've mentioned this in the first episode. There's a 2026 narrative review also noted how emotional repression and pressure to appear strong often conceal distress and delayed treatment. These patterns were discussed alongside addiction, violence, and suicide risk. So the issue is not emotion. The issue is what happens when emotion has no healthy route out of us. Men escape emotion for different reasons. Some men never saw healthy emotional expression in their life. Their fathers stayed quiet, their grandfathers worked, their coaches demanded toughness, their friends joked about their pain, their families ignored conflict, their communities praised endurance. A boy learns quickly which emotions earn comfort and which emotions cost respect. Anger often survives because anger looks strong. Sadness gets buried. Fear gets renamed as caution. Loneliness renamed as independence. Grief renamed as moving on. Exhaustion gets named as responsibility. Need gets renamed as weakness. The boy grows into a man. The language never grows with him. And other men learned emotions was unsafe. Perhaps vulnerability was used against you. You shared something private and someone mocked you. You cried and someone told you to toughen up. You admitted fear and someone lost respect for you. You asked for help and nobody came. You told the truth and someone punished you. Avoidance became protection. That protection made sense once. The question now is whether the same protection still serves your life. The people closest to you should not keep paying for lessons taught by people who no longer hold power over you. Work is one of the most socially rewarded ways men avoid emotion. You stay late, take extra calls, start another project, answer messages during family time, tell yourself the family needs money. Sometimes they do. Sometimes work offers control you do not feel at home. At work, goals are clear. Performance gets measured. Problems have solutions. Effort produces visible results. Relationships, however, are less predictable. A partner might need listening instead of fixing. A child might need comfort with no clear solution. Your co-parent might raise an issue tied to old pain. Work gives you competence, makes you feel empowered. Home asks and requires vulnerability. Work is not the enemy. Work becomes the escape, though, when productivity replaces emotional presence. Anger often acts as a cover emotion. A man feels embarrassed, he becomes angry. A man feels afraid, he becomes angry. A man feels rejected, he becomes angry. Or if a man gets helpless or feels helpless, he gets angry. Maybe unheard, becomes angry. Anger creates a type of energy. It creates distance. Anger gives a temporary sense of power. Anger often feels safer than saying, that hurt me, or I feel lost. I do not know what to do. I am scared, or I feel like I'm failing. It's framed irritability as a signal of unmet emotional needs, stress, exhaustion, and buried pain. Anger deserves attention. Anger also deserves translation. Some men leave emotionally without leaving physically. They sit in the room, they stop responding, their face goes flat, their voice becomes cold. Their partner asks, "What is wrong?" They say, "Nothing." Silence gives a man control over exposure. Nobody gets access to what he refuses to name. Yet silence creates its own message. Your family hears, "You are shut out. You are on your own. Your concern doesn't matter. I will return when I decide." A pause supports regulation. Silence used as a punishment creates fear and instability in your family. The difference is communication. A healthy pause says, "Look, I feel overwhelmed. I need about 30 minutes. I'll return at 8 p.m. or 8 o'clock. Avoidance says nothing, leaves everyone guessing. When it comes to screens, phones offer instant escape. Scrolling asks nothing from you. Videos create distraction. Games create clear goals. Social media creates some stimulation. Pornography creates distance from emotional intimacy. Screens offer relief without requiring honesty. The problem begins when your phone receives the attention your family keeps requesting. You tell yourself, "I'm just relaxing." Your child sees, "Dad's unavailable." Your partner sees one more barrier. Your nervous system stays stimulated. The feeling waits. Some men use sex to feel wanted without risking emotional exposure. Some use flirting, pornography, dating apps, or outside attention to repair wounded self-worth. Attention creates a temporary answer to an old question. Am I still valuable? Am I still desirable? Do I still matter? The answer lasts for a moment. The deeper wound stays. Physical intimacy without emotional intimacy often leaves both people disconnected. Sex becomes escape when the goal is relief rather than connection. Alcohol and drugs lower emotional intensity for a moment. They numb stress, slow thought, reduce inhibitions, create distance from pain. The relief feels real. The cost arrives later, though. The original emotion still remains. Family trust continues to weaken. Sleep suffers. Reactivity grows. Shame deepens. And the man needs more escape from the consequences of the first escape. And this creates an ever-constant cycle. When it comes to constant productivity, this escape often looks healthy. You train, build, study, volunteer, lead, fix the house, help friends, plan the future, stay disciplined, and it never stops. Achievement becomes anesthesia. You feel valuable while producing. Rest feels uncomfortable. Stillness feels empty. Receiving feels harder than giving. You do not know how or who you are when nobody needs anything from you. Productivity is useful. Productivity becomes escape when your worth disappears during the rest. Avoidance costs more than emotional connection. It affects your identity. A man who avoids emotion often becomes dependent on external structure. Work tells him who he is. Money tells him whether he matters. Sex tells him whether he is desired. Achievement tells him whether he has value. Control tells him whether he is safe. And when any of those areas weaken just by a little bit, the man feels lost. He does not lack strength. He lacks an internal relationship with himself. Let's take a quick pause for a moment. If this podcast has helped you slow down, see something different, or show up better as a dad, I want to ask you to do one simple thing for me. Take a second and rate 15 Minutes with Dad on whatever platform you're listening on right now. Those ratings help this work reach more fathers who are trying to do better, more men who are trying to be greater in their families' lives. And if you're having a meaningful moment, an awesome conversation with your kids, a breakthrough, or even a hard lesson that you're learning and want to share it on social media and tag us at 15 Minutes with Dad. And I read them. They matter a lot to me. And they remind other dads they're not doing this alone. All right? Let's get back to it. Recent reporting on father mental health described high levels of isolation and burnout among fathers. One 2024 survey cited in a 2026 report found 44% of fathers felt burnt out and 75% felt isolated. Isolation grows when a man has people around him, but no place where he feels safe enough to be known. A full house does not prevent loneliness. A relationship does not prevent loneliness. Children do not prevent loneliness. Your success does not prevent loneliness. Emotional access creates connection. Avoidance blocks access. So your family does not only experience what you say, they experience what you avoid. A partner experiences emotional avoidance as carrying the relationship alone. A child experiences emotional avoidance as distance. A co-parent experiences emotional avoidance as unresolved tension. A team experiences emotional avoidance as unpredictable leadership. When a father or a man avoids emotion, children often learn one of the two lessons. Lesson 1, feelings should be hidden. Or lesson 2, other people must manage dad's feelings. Neither lesson creates emotional safety. Because children watch how fathers respond to frustration. They notice whether dad names emotion or releases emotion onto others. They notice whether conflicts end with repair. They notice whether silence feels safe or threatening. They notice whether sadness receives compassion. They notice whether fear receives patience. You teach emotional regulation through repeated behavior. You teach emotional avoidance the same way. A healthier goal is not emotional control. A healthier goal is emotional flexibility or resilience. Psychological flexibility means staying connected to the present moment, making room for difficult thoughts and feelings, and choosing behavior based on the values instead of immediate emotional relief. A 2025 study of men and fathers examined the relationship between traditional masculinity and psychological flexibility. The research emphasized how flexibility offers men another path beyond rigid suppression and automatic reaction. This matters because strength is not the absence of discomfort. Strength is staying connected to your values while discomfort is present. You feel anger and choose not to intimidate. You feel shame and choose accountability. You feel fear and choose honesty. You feel rejection, choose self-respect. Grief, you choose support. Overwhelmed, you choose a structured pause. The feelings exist. The feeling does not lead to home, though. Now, here's a framework for this episode. I call it the escape map. It also has 5 steps. Step 1, we're going to name the trigger. We're going to ask what happened right before I wanted to escape. For example, my partner gave feedback, my child rejected me, work felt uncertain, I felt ignored, I made a mistake, I saw a reminder of the past, I felt lonely, I felt out of control. Be specific. Step 2, name the feeling. Move past I'm fine or stressed, I'm angry. Try something more complex, more in the gray area of emotions. Try rejected, embarrassed, afraid, helpless, ashamed, lonely, disappointed, unwanted, overwhelmed, grieving, confused. The correct word lowers the confusion. Then we're going to go to step 3. We're going to name the escape. What do you normally do next? Do you go to work more? Do you scroll? Do you drink? Do you argue? Do you shut down? Do you leave? Do you watch pornography? Do you seek attention? Overtrain? Spend money? Start fixing everything? Or sleep? Or just avoid the question or the conversation altogether? Your escape pattern often appears before conscious thought. Step 4, let's name the cost. Let's ask, what does this escape cost after the relief ends? It could be time, it could be trust, it could be intimacy, sleep, money, your health, your patience, connection, self-respect, access to your children, peace inside your home. Temporary relief deserves an honest price tag. And then step 5, we're going to choose the value. You're going to ask, who do I want to be in this moment? A present father, an honest partner, a respectful co-parent, a grounded leader, a man who repairs, a man who asks for support, a man who feels without causing harm. And then choose one action aligned with that value. Put the phone down, take 10 slow breaths, write down the feeling, ask for a structured pause, call a trusted friend, schedule therapy, return to the conversation, offer an apology, sit with the discomfort for 5 minutes. You do not need to solve your full life in that moment. You just need one honest next step, one honest next action. I want to give you a quick 3-minute practice to help regulate your emotions. And you can use this when you feel the urge to escape. So for your first minute, just stop moving. Place both feet on the ground, on the floor somewhere. Take slow breaths. Notice your body. Do not fix anything. Just notice it. Minute 2, say, I feel, and use one honest emotion word. Then say, the story I'm telling myself is, for example, I feel stressed out. The story that I'm telling myself is that I can't do anything right or hold anything together. This separates the feeling from your interpretation. And on the 3rd minute, I want you to ask, what action matches the man I want to become? Choose the small actions. Send an honest text or delete that text you was about to send. Return to the room. Ask for support. State the boundary calmly. Turn off your phone. Sit with your child. Listen to your partner. Go to bed without numbing. 3 minutes will not heal every wound, but 3 minutes create a gap between emotion and escape. And growth lives inside that gap. So let's take a moment to pause and think. What do you reach for when discomfort arises? Is it work, your phone, food, alcohol? Is it sex? Is it pornography? Is it anger, silence, productivity, control? Who taught you to escape this way? What feeling sits underneath that habit? What has that habit cost you? And who experiences the cost with you? Now, I want you to ask one more question. What would happen if you just stayed? Stayed in the room, stayed inside your body, stayed honest, stayed open, stayed present long enough to understand what the feeling was trying to tell you. Feelings is information. It's not instructions. It's just information. Fear might say something feels unsafe. Sadness might say something mattered. Anger might say a boundary was crossed. Shame might say your identity feels threatened. Loneliness might say you just need some connection. Grief might tell you love had weight. You missed that person. You do not need to obey every feeling. You need enough courage to hear it. For 7 days, I want to give you a challenge. Track one escape pattern. Use 4 lines. Put down trigger, feeling, escape, cost. For example, trigger may be my partner said I seem distant. Feeling could be I feel ashamed and afraid of failing. Your escape could easily be I became defensive and started scrolling. And the cost can be we felt more disconnected after that. And then I want you to add one final line, the value-based response. It could be something as, I will put down the phone and ask what she has been experiencing. Do this each day, just once, each day. You don't have to judge your pattern, just study it. If you judge, it's going to create more shame for you. Awareness is going to give you a choice. And at the end of the 7 days, review what you've written. Don't do it during the time. Review it at the end of the 7 days. Look for repeated triggers. Look for repeated emotions, repeated escapes. And then choose one person and share what you learned. It could be a buddy. It could be in a group. If you feel safe to do it with your significant other, you can do that with your significant other. I'm willing to bet that they will be very open to hearing about this work that you're doing. But you can say, I notice I often escape when I feel, or my usual response is, or the cost has been, or I want to practice this, But honesty ends the isolation that you've been feeling. You do not avoid emotion because you are weak. You avoid emotion because something taught you emotion was unsafe. And that lesson deserves some compassion. The pattern still require your responsibility, though. Your work cannot grieve for you. Your phone cannot repair your relationship. Your anger cannot explain your fear. Your silence can't create intimacy. Your achievements cannot replace your self-worth. Sex cannot fill or heal the loneliness by itself. A full schedule cannot protect you forever. At some point, the feeling waits in a quiet room, ready for you to return. And the work is learning how to enter that room without abandoning yourself. Emotional presence does not mean drowning in emotion. It means staying close enough to yourself to choose what happens next. Because you have a choice. Your family does not need you to feel everything perfectly. They just need you to stop disappearing every time something hurts. Now, episode 4, we'll examine control and the lines between leadership, protection, and domination. The title is Control Disguised as Leadership, when protection becomes power. So make sure you share this episode with a man whose strength has always been movement. This is 15 Minutes with Dad. I am Lirec Williams. Stop running, name the feeling, choose the man you want to become. Before you move on, let's pause here, because growth doesn't happen in the listening. It happens in what you choose next. So you don't need to change everything. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Stay present long enough to practice something different. So carry this into your home, into those small moments, the hard conversations, and the quiet decisions no one applauds. That's where fatherhood is built. And if something here resonated, let it become action. Let it become consistency, or become the way that you lead. Because this is how trust is formed. This is how safety is felt, and this is how generational change actually happens. And if this episode helps you, share it with another father who's trying to do better. And if you have a story, a win, or a lesson you're learning, email me at Lirec, Lirec, at 15minuteswithdad.com. That's Lirec at 15minuteswithdad.com. Because this work grows through shared experiences.